The middle of October. The leaves are changing colors. Christmas is around the corner. And 2022 is now at the forefront of people's minds. So much change is happening in the world, in the country, in your own town. But you know what doesn't change? The National Football League. That goes on. The beat goes on, ladies and gentlemen. And we have just conquered week 5. I think some interesting things happened this week. I think we found out some pretenders. I think we found out some contenders. And I think that we finally have an MVP frontrunner. We're going to hit you with all that stuff and more as we go through our injury report segment in segment 1. We're also going to talk about Jon Gruden and the dismissal of the former Las Vegas Raiders head coach. And we're going to break down 2 games, maybe even 3. We're going to break down the miraculous comeback by the Ravens on Monday night as they took down the Colts after being down 22-3. We're going to break down the game of the year, which conveniently just happens to have the Browns in it every single time. And this time it was against the Chargers. And both times the Browns were on the losing end of that. And is there a new favorite in the AFC? That and more coming up on episode number 34 on Perfect Spiral. Spencer, hit the song.
Play to win the game.
Touchdown! Can't wait.
All right, John, we're here.
You made it, Joe.
We're here.
You're alive.
Last step. Yeah. Oh my God. Can I tell you what asinineness I just had to go through before I got here?
Explain, yeah. Because you were talking to my mom downstairs.
I was very late because my uncle, who I love dearly, asked me to come help him with a piece of furniture, and I don't know if he did his homework or not, but it's supposed to be a 5-minute project. Turned out to be 45 minutes. Didn't even get the damn thing in the house. I'm all sweaty now. I got to get in the shower when I go home. Not happy. Came here, had to do some man business when I got here. Just not happy. I wanted to watch the next preseason game, which we're watching right now, but I wanted to watch the first half, and now I'm only watching the second half. But some preseason action. As long as nobody gets hurt, I'm fine.
Wow.
How's your day going, John?
It was interesting. I worked, obviously, this morning. And then, you know what? Remember when I called you and told you I had to take that test today?
I did.
So I show up there. Not to mention, you can't park in the lot, right? So I go in, I park down the block by the Chinese restaurant, which I got a $7.99 lunch special after the fact. But anyway.
$7.99 lunch special?
Oriental Plaza, $7.99.
Oh, beautiful.
So, I go in, and the lady goes, your ID, please, whatever. So I give her my ID, and then she goes, what are you here for? I go, court officer exam. She goes, you sure it's here? I'm like, yeah. She goes, I have the email. So I show her the email. She goes, it says Thursday. I'm like, oh, my God. And I already left work early.
You're just losing at life.
Bro, life is just I feel like I'm getting hit with a metal bat. At least 5 out of 7 days a week. It's pretty insane.
That's not what you want.
No, it's not.
Not what you want.
But I have Perfect Spiral, so here we go.
We're here. We're at episode number 34. Welcome, everyone. If you're listening to our banter, go back and forth. My name is Joe Miglio. My co-host, John McCarthy, who's having a bad day as much as I am. And we're here. That's one constant. The beat goes on. As I said in the intro, the NFL Perfect Spiral, the beat goes on. And we are here to bring you Week 5 recap and some Week 6 knowledge. If you haven't already, please subscribe, rate, and review on anywhere you find your podcasts, whether it's Apple, Spotify, Google, Pandora, Deezer, Stitcher, or Buzzsprout. Make sure you're leaving comments and reviews. We want to hear everything. So, John.
Let's just get into it right away.
Before we get into it, I do have one thing to bring up.
Okay.
Can you Do you want to? You know what? I'm gonna do it. Just sit back and relax really quick.
Oh boy.
I want to let everyone know the craziness that occurred Monday night.
Are you gonna talk about what happened?
Oh, I am.
Come on, Joe.
Because we teased last week. We talked about it. And now we have to let the fans know what transpired. So just so everybody knows, John was playing myself this week in fantasy football.
Not to mention now I play your amazing wife this week.
Yes, my wife who is undefeated so far. And so it got off to a pretty rough start for me because Saquon got hurt, which we're going to get into. John got it started Thursday where I got a really nice performance from DK Metcalf.
Yeah, you got like 28
nice.
from DK. Yeah.
So that was good. And but Saquon got hurt. It was not looking great going into Sunday night. And then I had Patty Mahomes. First game for Sunshine. And he just coincidentally has his worst game of the season against
of his career, probably.
Against the Buffalo Bills. So I'm down. What was it, John?
You were down, I think, like 32 going into
I was down
Monday
32 night. Going into Monday night. John was done. He dropped a very solid 174 points, right? Which was tops for third in the league this week. But I had a secret weapon on Monday night. His name was Mark Andrews.
It's not a secret weapon. He just happened to have the best game of his life.
And he, in amazing Mark Andrews form, really, really made you watch the whole game before he stuck the knife in it. And at halftime, I spoke to Mark. I said, "Listen, you really gotta pick it up because John's been talking a lot of smack this week, and we need to let him know who the boss is this season." So Mark decides in the second half to catch 2 touchdown passes, have over 10 receptions, have over 140 yards receiving for a 37-point output. And Sunshine, which is myself, defeated John McCarthy in the Ronaldo League to not only take sole possession of first place, also have the most points through 5 weeks in this year's league. John, can you let the fair folks how you feel after that crushing defeat?
First of all, Joe, so not to mention I lost to you. I almost lost in another league to Mark Andrews, but I won by 3 points. Then in another league, I put up 197, and Mark Andrews beat me. The guy put up 217. And then I lose to you. And you know what's crazy is like I started virtually the perfect lineup. There wasn't a better lineup.
You did. You did everything you needed to do.
Yeah, I did everything. Alexander Madison in the flex was a play of the week for me. It's so crazy how he could just get slotted in and just put up almost 30 fantasy points. But holy shit, dude. I couldn't believe it. I mean, listen, this is just what this year is, man.
Trophy's calling my name, baby.
It's not. It's still in my possession.
It's calling my name.
And now I get to play your amazing wife this week. Who, if she beats me, I may reassess my entire life. If I lose to both Miglios, like Tana's team has been a walkover for the last 4 years in the league, and now she's actually a legitimate threat.
Listen, if we both beat you, you have to come home for dinner at 6:00. Because we own you.
Wow, that was fucking. Oh my, Joe, I can't believe I lost. I was sick about it. Honestly, I was sick about it.
Well, stay sick because you're gonna have to let it linger for at least until the playoffs.
I'll see you in the playoffs, Joe.
But that's all. That's all you have to say.
Imagine I don't make the playoffs.
Imagine this spirals you out of control.
Oh my god, stop! And I have no assets left. Stop it! Don't do that to me.
All right, now that the fun is over, let's actually get into some serious business about what happened over the past 48 hours in the NFL.
Biggest news of the week. Probably biggest news of the year.
And it has nothing to do with Urban Meyer. Thank the Lord Jesus Christ. It actually has to do with a head coach resigning. And it's not Urban Meyer. But it's Jon Gruden. There was a story that came out in the New York Times the other day which chronicled his emails that he was exchanging with Bruce Allen for 7 years while at ESPN from 2011 to 2018. And there were multiple slurs against every different walk of life imaginable.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
And while he wasn't employed by the Raiders while this happened, so the NFL really couldn't do anything about it. I think the Raiders, the Raiders or the NFL really couldn't do anything about it because he wasn't employed by the NFL.
Yeah, it was ESPN.
It was just really to smear his reputation and hope that the Raiders would take action on their own. He ends up resigning. But the thing that baffles this about me more than anything is this came as a result of an investigation against the Washington football team.
Yeah.
So, listen. I'm gonna go first quick, and then I'll let you go. Let you go afterwards. Listen, obviously, what he did was, in a word, disgusting. And I think he did the right thing by resigning. I don't know, man. Call me crazy, but I don't know. I mean, to take away everything, it just seems like, like you saw, he got taken out of the Bucs Ring of Honor.
Yeah, he got taken out of the Bucs Ring of Honor.
It just seems like, listen, like I said, I don't agree with anything that he said, obviously. And I think that he should be reprimanded for his actions. It just, I'm of the sort where, we should give everybody a second chance in due time. So maybe over the course of his life, at some point, may not be in the NFL again, but maybe he gets another shot doing something. I don't know. I just I don't feel bad for him.
No, I don't feel bad.
I don't feel bad for him. I feel bad for the Raiders. I feel bad for the fans. I feel bad for the front office because they had no idea this was going on. But this is today's world.
Yeah.
This is what happens. Nothing's private. We talked about it last week with Urban Meyer. Nothing is private anymore. So, I think it's just a chapter in his life, obviously, that he wants to have back. It's a chapter in the Raiders organization that will stain them forever. Because the question goes, like, how much due diligence did you do before you hired him? Again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How much?
Just a name, or
how much did you go? And we're seeing this across all sports, right? We're seeing this. We saw this in baseball with the Mets, with the GM Jared Porter, who got hired, then he got fired because he sexually assaulted a woman, and everybody came to question how much due diligence did the Mets really do on this guy? And we're seeing it throughout sports now, where some of these people are getting hired, and it just seems like there's no background check going into these guys. So I don't know if that's a question that gets posed afterwards, but what's your deal with the whole thing?
So here's my thing with the Urban Meyer. Wow, you got me saying Urban Meyer now. Here's my thing with the Jon Gruden situation. First of all, I'm gonna start by saying I did read what he said. To put it,
I didn't read the whole thing.
To put it bluntly, what he said in regards to African Americans, Michael Sam, and stuff like that, it was pretty heinous. It was pretty shitty. And then the stuff that he was saying about women was a lot of there was lines that were clearly crossed. You shouldn't be discussing this. It's it was sending pictures of the cheerleaders when there was a situation going on. So it's it's a weird thing because one, we live in a world where it's a lot
cancel culture.
It's a cancel culture. And granted, what he did was wrong. And he should have known this But again, it was a different time. But even now, right? So like we're in an NFL that was going through an entire culture change, right? Like the league went through a change when it was Colin Kaepernick. Now, they have Carl Nassib on the Raiders. Go figure, Carl Nassib.
Of course, right? Yeah.
And it's like, you can't have somebody like this in the league when there was already a reputation for the league that they were blackballing certain players, that they had certain feelings on certain things. Owners had certain feelings on certain things when it came to race. And now you're having a coach where the league is predominantly African American, would you say?
Of course it is.
So, and he's turning around and he's making certain comments. It's a little, it's classless. But I'll tell you one thing about this, Joe. I'll tell you one thing about this. He's not the first, and he won't be the last. Because I'm sure there is a lot of coaches, a lot of owners, a lot of shit that is said in these emails. And you know what's crazy to me is that, like you said, it came from the
media too, right? They heard the thing with Adam Schefter.
Yeah, Adam Schefter was sending emails to Bruce Allen about articles before he posted it to see what needed to be taken out. There is this opened up a Pandora's box. And you know what's crazy about this? The one thing that I want to go back to is, Jon Gruden, listen, I don't think he's going to come back into the league. I think he's done. I think that he's beyond done. I think you're going to end up seeing is him getting his own podcast or something.
Oh.
And doing some weird
Join
shit.
the club.
Yeah, right. Welcome to the podcast universe. Could we cancel him? No, but what I think is what I was going to say was that it's crazy that this came at the expense of the Washington football, during the Washington football team investigation.
Right.
But nobody heard shit about Dan Snyder.
It's wild, isn't it?
It's everyone around him is getting
it's an owner's league, my friend.
And they just silenced everything. It's insane. Listen, more stuff's gonna come out. You bet this is gonna be a free fall. Honestly, it's gonna be an absolute free fall. But listen, there's no love lost for Jon Gruden here.
No. Listen. But I do want to talk about for a minute what it means. Let's go over a couple of things. What does it mean for the Raiders as a team this year? To you, what is your thought about what it means for the Raiders going in for the rest of the season?
So they have that what's his name? Tony Bisaccia, I think is his name.
Rich Bisaccia.
Rich Bisaccia. Tony Bisaccia.
Bisaccia, I think.
So special teams coach. He's going to be the interim head coach.
First time as a head coach, right?
Yeah, it's his first time. He's been in the league almost 28 years. Here's the thing, though. I think that this may have stunted what was happening with the Raiders. This is kind of like a black eye, right? And you know what's funny is do these owners feel some type of way now towards Mark Davis? Is that a question to ask?
No, I don't think so.
No?
I think the answer is no.
No, even though he was so close with Gruden, maybe he holds some of the same feelings. I don't know. It's just how people think now.
Well, they want to. You don't want to assume that he knew how Gruden was, because there are a lot of people who defended Jon or who still are defending Jon. Mm-hmm. Media, players, coach. There's a lot of guys who are defending him and saying he's not that guy and they respect him and all of this stuff. So I don't know. I don't know if Davis knew all of what was said, or because I don't know. I doubt that Jon Gruden's walking around saying these things in public.
Oh no,
you know what I mean?
So. But that's the problem. It's these people hold these feelings close to the vest and they don't really express them. But then the ways they express them, it's sending an email to a executive of a team. But anyway, so what I think it means for this team is that I feel like they kind of falter. I feel like they had something going. They had a little momentum. Then they had the 2 losses. Now it's we've seen this last year where they had momentum. Mm-hmm. Then they started to lose, and then it was they crumbled. So
maybe made that apology prematurely.
Yeah, a little premature apology on them. So I'm out on the Raiders right now. I think it's just a tough organization, man. It's a tough situation to deal with.
I agree. I don't see how this helps them in any way. I think, when you focus on preaching togetherness and unity and all this stuff as a head coach in the training camp and the offseason and the preseason, and especially the regular season, it hurts. I'm sure the players are hurt. I'm sure. How do you think Carl Nassib feels? The guy had to take a personal day.
Of course. He's one of the first openly gay players in the league.
Yeah, it's not an ideal situation. I don't know. I really hope Rich Bisaccia gets a fair shot. I hope he's able to make it work. But you have to be crazy to think it's gonna be. And just on the football surface, they play in a majorly tough division. They're playing they have a Chiefs team who's struggling right now, but They're better than the Raiders now. Even now, when they're struggling, they're better than the Raiders now and twice on Sunday. The Chargers seem to have gone from an average football team to an elite football team in the course of one offseason. And then there's the Broncos, who I feel like are on the same level as the Raiders are right now.
Yeah, maybe a pinch better.
So I just don't think that they're in a great spot. I think their fans are probably like, again, like something bad happens to us again. Like, I mean, listen, maybe some of their fans wanted to get rid of Gruden because he didn't do overly well in his first 4 years there.
I would say it was average.
He didn't do overly well at all. Not especially for $10 million a year. He wasn't getting the job done. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Good luck to Coach Bisaccia. But definitely a dark day for the league in the past 48 hours with this news coming down about one of its most, how should I put this? One of the most popular figureheads that the NFL has to offer.
Very recognizable person.
When you think about the NFL, and especially when you think about head coaches, the only guys you probably put ahead, just in notoriety, ahead of Jon Gruden are Bill Belichick, Andy Reid, Sean Payton, and maybe Mike Tomlin. That's it. After that, those are the first 5 coaches you name. If you don't know football, those are you're like, oh yeah, I know Jon Gruden. I've heard of that. I've heard of Gruden before. Like, of course you have, because he's been around forever.
Yeah.
So I think the league, I think in a perfect world, I think they want him in the league because he's a recognizable face, like you said. But you can't take back things that you did 7 years ago. That's for sure.
Especially when there's a paper trail on it.
Absolutely.
Lesson learned. Don't do that sort of stuff.
So that being said, let's get into the actual first segment, which I wanted to talk about, which was we're gonna go through the injury report. Couple of injuries we're gonna highlight here, and the first one we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about my guy, my running back, Saquon Barkley. Left the game on a freak injury in Dallas last week. Where
so ridiculous.
He was running a slant route he was set up wide. He was running a slant route, and Daniel Jones completely overthrew him on the play. Mm-hmm. And after the play was over, he was kind of just like jogging like across the field, like just to like kind of like run off the play. And Jordan Lewis, the defensive back for the Cowboys, just like gingerly, he didn't do it on purpose, obviously, but he just gingerly walks off and he just like steps on Barkley's ankle and completely rolls it. And I mean, everyone saw the picture; it was blown up.
Yeah, blew up like a balloon.
But they got good results. They say it's a low ankle sprain, not a high ankle sprain, which is good news for him. So he's expected to be out 2 to 3 weeks. What are your thoughts?
I mean, not a surprise, I guess. I mean, Saquon's been so injury plagued throughout his career so far, but I mean, that was kind of a freak injury. He was really starting to turn up a little bit. I think this could hamper him the rest of the year, that's for sure.
You think so?
I mean, listen, at the end of the day, he's playing on a bad football team, so it's like how soon are you going to rush him back? And in a world where right now they're 1-4.
They're going to be 1-5 because they play the Rams next week.
They're going to be 1-5. He's coming off a low ankle sprain, 2 to 4 week timetable.
They're saying it's going to be more on the 2.
You really going to rush him back? I mean, they're gonna play coy with him. This spells trouble, I think, for the rest of his season. The guy can't catch a break, Joe. He's always got something happening.
I'll just is it a foregone conclusion that the Giants do not offer him a contract extension?
I will not offer him a contract extension. I would be out on him. Listen,
number 2 overall draft pick.
Let's see what happens with Booker, because
Devontae Booker's not a starter in this league.
I know he's not a starter, but let's see what they could do with him. Not saying he's going to be Saquon light, where it's like Madison could technically be Dalvin Cook light.
No, Devontae Booker, John, they're 2 different players. Devontae Booker can't line up as a wideout on pass down plays. He's not that type of player.
He can catch out of the backfield.
But he's not. Saquon literally caught a 54-yard touchdown pass against the Saints last week that turned the game, and it was lined up as a wide receiver.
Would you give him a contract extension?
No.
Oh.
But I'm not saying let's see what's Booker going to do. I see is like he's like the heir apparent.
Them giving him a contract extension would be catastrophic.
if I'm the Giants, you know who I go after?
Who?
Alexander Madison. Not even joking.
Alexander Madison's an absolute beast. We can't let him go.
Not even kidding. Or Tony Pollard. Those are two guys off the bat that
Marlon
deserve
Mack.
to be. Stop. Those are two guys off the bat that deserve to have a starting opportunity in this league, based off of what I've seen so far.
Poor Saquon, man. You know what's funny though? Some team is gonna pay him, right? Just off of the name
of
recognition,
course.
he's gonna get paid.
Of course they are. And I think he should get a second chance. It's just not going to be with the Giants.
No, I don't think so. Not after this.
So let's stick with the New York football team and let's talk about their quarterback, Daniel Jones. Concussion. Did not look pretty.
Oof. Yeah, he was done.
They're saying they doubt he's going to play Sunday against the Rams. So the Giants are going to go home and going to play the Rams without Saquon Barkley, without Kenny Golladay, and without Daniel Jones.
It's going to be a bloodbath.
Yikes. Yikes. Giant fans, get ready for the Mike Glennon experience. I've had it last year. It was fun, man. If you're looking to lose football games, Mike Glennon has a knack for just keeping you involved to watch just until he needs to make the vital mistake just to make sure your team loses. I'm telling you, it's absolutely uncanny. I could see the Giants being down like 30-23 or something like that in like the last 2 minutes of the game, and like they're like driving, they're on like the Ram 25-yard line, and Mike Glennon just throws an egregious interception. He like for no reason at all throws at Jalen Ramsey, and just like it's just brutal. It's like why? But I'm telling you. Mike Glennon experience, folks.
Second longest neck in the league, I think, to only Davis Mills.
Oh, my God. Good joke. I like that. Well, let's talk about the last one. Kenny Golladay, injured again.
Do we even need to talk about it? He's always hurt.
What does it mean for this saying it's a minor injury? But it's just
it's always been a minor injury with him.
I know. It's just how does it affect him? He has not been a great player this year. He's had one good game, and coincidentally, it's the game that the Giants won. But now he's injured again.
Dude, he's always hurt. He's another one always hurt. You know what's crazy? When they paid him that 4 years, what was it, $70-something million? It was like, really? We're paying Kenny Golladay as if he's a wide receiver.
You know, it's a bad move when everybody universally says, wow, why?
Like, who were they competing against?
I just don't think it was the wrong fit. That's what everybody was saying. It was the wrong fit. Daniel Jones doesn't throw the ball deep. Like, he just doesn't.
Not to mention, Galladay's always fucking hurt.
Yes.
And again, he's hurt again. It's not a shock. Like, talented player, but holy cow.
Let's transfer over to the Kansas City Chiefs. Clyde Edwards-Helaire just got put on IR, and he'll be out for the next 3 weeks.
Tough season for him.
I mean, dude's just a walking bust, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I don't think. See, this is how I don't think the Chiefs lose anything by losing him.
No, nothing.
I really don't.
Darrell Williams might even be better.
But this goes back to my theory about after the season. I could look for them to like. I mean, I don't think they're going to trade him, but like if I was other teams, if I'm a running back needy team, or if I'm a team that like wants to kind of run like what a Detroit Lions are running, like a Swift Williams kind of like combo. If I'm a team that wants to do that, like I'm trying to think of a team now
that has one back
that has really one back that would be really interested in doing something like that, like
maybe the Saints,
like a Seattle Seahawks.
Seahawks, yeah.
Like they got Chris Carson, right? They got Chris Carson to run the ball. What if they got Edwards-Helaire to be like their Jamal Williams?
That would be sick. Or the Saints. I mean, get him with Kamara.
Right. Yeah, but he kind of does the same that Kamara does. You want him to be like the opposite of what the other guy does, I feel like.
I guess. It's true.
You know what I mean?
Maybe Titans.
See, that would be interesting.
Derrick Henry.
That would be interesting. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. What do you think this means for Helaire for the rest of the season?
You might start to see him get a little phased out when he comes back. I mean, he was having fumbling troubles even before the injury. I mean, he did have like 2 decent games, but I think that's just a product of them just like force feeding him the ball. I don't think it was really like, holy shit, Clyde Edwards-Helaire really busted this one open.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think he was playing very well. Like you said, we've had our reservations about him. But I think this might stun him a little bit this year. I think you're going to see them get away from the run game almost completely.
Well, we're going to talk about that game later. But last one, let's talk about Let's talk about Juju.
Yikes.
Out for the season with a shoulder injury. Brutal blow for the Steelers?
Not at all, but I think it's a brutal blow for him coming off of where,
Well, he signed a 1-year deal. And now he's going to go into the free agent market coming off a shoulder injury.
He could have had more going to Kansas City. He turned it down. And then you go back to Pittsburgh, and, Ben clearly is not the same player.
I don't think Pittsburgh re-signs him.
No. Someone will, though.
Someone will, but they're not going to give him a major contract.
No, coming off that injury, he's going to have to earn it. I mean, it's sad because it was a pretty bad shoulder injury.
I mean, he was the number 3 receiver, in my opinion, on that team to begin with.
Yeah, he was. He was behind Deontay and Claypool.
And now I just don't know what this means for him going forward as a player. Does he get paid starter money in free agency, or does he get paid like slot receiver money?
He's going to get like slot receiver money because I feel like that's his position. He
clearly thinks he's worth more.
Yeah, well, because of his name and because he TikToks. That doesn't mean shit.
Oh, the TikToks.
That's what he's known for. I mean, let's be honest. He had that one good year, and then he would just dance on every opposing sideline's logo. And everybody was like, oh, Juju. And then he got smacked. But, Juju's only 25 years old. He's a young
He's still
player.
very young.
He came to league at
very,
20.
very young.
So it's kind of like there's still definitely something there, but you're coming off a major shoulder injury as a wide receiver. He's gonna get lowballed. He's gonna get lowballed in free agency unless Pittsburgh brings him back on a sweetheart deal. But I don't see it. I think they're done. I think that the relationship is over, and he's gonna move on.
Professor, give me a new fantasy outlook for Chase Claypool with Juju out for the season.
I feel like you start him with absolute confidence now.
Absolute confidence.
I mean, my calls have been terrible this year, but I'll tell you this.
Is he still touchdown dependent?
No.
He's not.
I think he's clearly target dependent. I mean, that sounds like a weird thing, right? Because every receiver is target dependent. But it's like Deontay Johnson garners so much of Ben's targets. Like, Deontay Johnson has double-digit targets.
He's clearly the number one receiver.
He's the number one receiver. He has double-digit targets in almost every game this year. And then now Ben is getting Najee Harris involved in the passing game, right?
Right.
So there's not a whole lot of offense to go around, but now you take away Juju's targets, which is about 5 or 6 maybe, and you give Claypool another 3 on top of his 4, he could do something with it. But you know what's crazy is I don't feel like they utilize him the right way enough. It's a lot of deep shot, jump over your guy and get it. It's not a lot of short intermediate stuff with Claypool. But I would start him with confidence because look at what happened when Juju went out. I mean, somebody's going to have to step up.
Right. Right.
Ben did look better this past week, but I'm not putting much stock in that at all.
Yeah. Well, that's our injury report, folks. And that'll do it for segment 1 here. When we come back, we are going to go in depth on a couple of games. We're going to break down the Monday night thriller between the Ravens and the Colts. We are going to break down the Chiefs and the Bills, and we're going to break down the thriller that was the Chargers and the Browns. Be right back.
Hey y'all, Spencer Blinn, the producer for Perfect Spiral Podcast, and you're listening to my band Hollow Choir's new song, What You Want. Available now on Spotify. What you want.
All right, John. Time to get into some football talk.
Oh, okay. Football talk. What we're mainly here for.
What game do you want to hit up first?
I want to talk about the Ravens Colts.
You do? You want to talk about the Ravens and the Colts? Okay. Let's talk about the Ravens and the Colts. And so if anybody didn't watch the game on Monday night, me and John both watched different parts of it. John, you watched the kind of first 3 quarters. I watched the last quarter and a half. Colts were all over the Ravens throughout the first 2.5 quarters. Mm-hmm. And then it feels like a flip switched for Baltimore. Literally, a flip just switched. And they were like, okay, let's just start playing. And they just came back. Like it was nothing. Yeah. It was nobody's business. What I mean, what are we buying in on the Ravens?
So let me say this about the Ravens, right? Let me say this, and I want to mostly talk about Lamar Jackson, right?
Sure.
I think what we witnessed
might have had his best performance of his career.
It was his best performance of his career. It was one of the only performances where someone threw for over 400 yards, 4 touchdowns with 80-something% completion. and no turnovers. It was insane. I'll say this about Lamar Jackson. I feel like what you witnessed is what you see with certain players in the NBA, right? Giannis in the finals just takes that extra step. I feel like we witnessed Lamar take that step, right? He suddenly looked like a different player. Joe, it wasn't even close. He wasn't the same player. Like, he looked like a different player. And, like, if you get that consistently out of Lamar, we're cooking with gas now. Because him as a passer is deadly if he could do it consistently. Granted, he went against a bad Colts defense, but still, at the same time,
he was shut out for 2.5 quarters.
Yeah, he was shut out for 2.5 quarters. To make that adjustment, and like, I think the big knock on this Baltimore team was that, like, they would always kind of, like, when they started to lose, they would kind of give up, right? Like, it would almost be like they gave up. Now you're looking at them and you're like, whoa, not dead yet. And Lamar, I feel like, turned that corner a little bit. So I'm buying them. I'm buying them right now because I feel like they're doing a lot of things right. Granted, they're not playing great on defense. They're playing just good enough. This defense is not nearly as good as what it was. They do not have a run game whatsoever. It's all Lamar. I mean, throw Lamar into that MVP conversation because, like, if this team actually goes somewhere, it's because of him.
Can I counter, please?
Go ahead.
Okay. The Ravens are a good football team. I think that's undisputed. To me, they don't have that it factor.
It's just Lamar.
But they are right.
That's it.
That's not good enough. It's not good enough. You need to be more than just the quarterback. Or don't you not? I mean, the Chiefs didn't win the Super Bowl because of just Patrick Mahomes. I mean, yes, he's the best quarterback in the league, right? And he makes throws that are absurd. But the Chiefs also have a top 3 wide receiver. The Chiefs also have the best tight end in football. The Chiefs also have the honey badger in the back of the defense. The Chiefs also have Chris Jones, who just happens to be a top 5 defensive tackle in football. So the Chiefs have other pieces to go along with Patrick Mahomes. Do the Ravens have a top 5 wide receiver?
I think you're starting to see one start to bud.
With Hollywood?
With Hollywood. I think you're starting to see something's clicking there. Something's happening now. Like, Hollywood's had a crazy year.
He's had a very good season. I will give you that.
Something is changing a little bit. This is by far, Joe, I'll say this not to cut you off, this is the worst team Lamar's had out of any of the teams he's had. That team he had 2 years ago was a Super Bowl caliber team.
The one when they went 14-2.
Yes, that's a Super Bowl caliber team. That defense was unbelievable, and he was the MVP. Last year, mediocre. This year now, I feel like they're worse than last year due to all the injuries. You're losing some running backs. You're losing Marcus Peters. Listen, that defense is no slouch. They still have Chuck Clark. They still have Calais, Marlon Humphreys. Like, there's defensive players there, but they're just not playing well.
Right.
But you're starting to see a transition on offense, I feel like. But it's mostly just Lamar.
I mean, listen, Mark Andrews is not going to put up 10 catches for $147 and 2 scores every game. It's not going to happen.
Oh, absolutely not.
You know? I mean, maybe they start targeting him more now the rest of the season. It just seemed like they weren't targeting him nearly as much for the first couple of weeks of the year. And they were trying to pepper other guys.
Yeah.
To maybe get them involved. I don't know. But it just seems to me like you look at a team like Buffalo, and I think they're worlds better than Baltimore. Is that weird?
Well, yeah, because they are worlds better than Baltimore.
Well, I look at the Chiefs, and I still think they're better than Baltimore, even though they lost to them.
I think they are, too.
I look at the Chargers, and I think they're better than Baltimore.
100%. So we're thinking they might be the 4th best team in the AFC? Is that what we're saying? You have them ahead of Cleveland.
Yes, right now.
I have them ahead of Cleveland, too.
Yeah, but the 4th best team doesn't even get you in the AFC title game.
Listen, at this point of the year, right? I mean, you have your...
It's early still.
It's early, but it is top heavy. It is top heavy.
I don't know. I like them. I like them a lot. I think if you put them in the NFC, I think they're Super Bowl contenders.
Yes.
I think the AFC is a much stronger conference right now than the NFC is.
100%. There's 2 teams that I think are solid in the NFC.
Yeah, I think the AFC is much stronger than the NFC.
So now, the Colts, real quick. They're just in trouble, huh? They're just in absolute trouble.
The Colts are just like, I mean, listen, we looked at their schedule at the beginning of the year, and we were like, wow, that's brutal. Right? And we had them pegged at like, what, 1-6? 1-5 through the first, and that was with Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
And they've lost the games that we thought they were going to lose. Literally. They lost to Seattle. They lost to the Rams. They lost to the Titans. They lost to the Ravens. They beat the Dolphins without Tua. So, like, who have they... I mean, they're not a good football team.
No.
They're just not. They're not a good football team.
I don't know what they're missing either, because this is a playoff team last year with Phillip Rivers. And now you're not a playoff team with better quarterback play. I don't get it. That doesn't make any sense to me. Carson Wentz has played pretty well, Joe. We can't deny that.
The last couple of weeks, he has played pretty well. I'll give you that. He has played pretty well the last couple of weeks. But there's just something with this team. This team does not have a great secondary. They do not have a good defensive line. They have like a guy. They have Buckner. Mm-hmm. But that's really it. You know? Their receivers aren't great. Pittman's okay, but their receivers aren't anything to write home about.
Yeah.
They don't have a tight end.
It's a little messy there.
You know, their best offensive player is Jonathan Taylor. Well, Jonathan Taylor's a good player. Can't do everything on his own. I just don't think they're a good football team. I don't. I think they're a bottom... Right now, they're a bottom 10 franchise. And to go from where they were last year to where they are now, with really just a change of the quarterback, is kind of crazy. I just don't think they're very good.
No, they're not.
I just don't. I mean, listen, if you're a good football team, plain and simple, if you're a good football team, if you're a playoff caliber football team, you do not blow a 22-3 lead halfway through the third quarter. You don't.
Right.
You do not do that. You don't. You don't get a kick blocked with like 5.5 minutes to go in the game when a field goal puts you up by 2 scores. You don't. You don't let those things happen.
Yeah, they're in trouble. That's a team in trouble.
I just don't like. I mean, listen. I think the way that they played defense in the second half of that football game was just so lackadaisical, and it was uninspiring. More than anything else,
They took their foot off the gas
it
pedal.
was uninspiring. Like, just, and don't get me wrong, after the first Mark Andrews touchdown, they make it 25-17. Carson Wentz had a nice drive, and he drove them down the field. He took like 4.5 minutes off the clock, and they went to go attempt the field goal. And it was a makeable field goal. It was like, what, a 40-yarder? It was something that easily Blankenship makes, right? And like the only thing that was going to stop that from happening was a blocked kick. And you're like, wow, what are the chances of that? Calais Campbell just gets through. Like, it was no problem.
Yeah, like not even unblocked.
Like, they let him through. And it's like, if you're Frank Reich and you're the special teams coach, you're saying, hey, we get this through, the game's probably ours. Like, we probably have this game. Right? We're having a completely different conversation today about both franchises.
100%.
About the Colts and about the Ravens. If that kick does not get blocked. We're talking about the Ravens. Are they for real? Are they not for real? We're talking about the Colts. Like, oh, are they good? Did they just have a tough schedule? Now it's the complete opposite. I just don't know what to make of it. I don't know how you go from one spectrum to the other in a year with largely the same roster.
Yeah, it makes no sense to me.
I mean,
They're lucky their division is kind of soft.
their division's shit because the Jaguars suck and the Texans are just as bad.
And the Titans are kind of,
The Titans haven't impressed me one bit.
middling. So now, which
Let's go to. I want to save the Bills Chiefs for last. Let's talk about the game of the year, which was the Chargers and the Browns. And if you did not watch this football game, you missed. You missed. And the game didn't really get fun till the fourth quarter.
No, it was like a good game. They were keeping it close, but like that fourth quarter was insane.
I mean, Justin Herbert, man.
MVP frontrunner.
You think so?
For me, yes.
Okay.
For me, yes. Listen, Kyler Murray's up there.
So is Josh Allen.
But Justin Herbert is doing some incredible stuff.
Is he a superstar?
He's a top 5 quarterback in this league.
Top 5 quarterback.
Already. He is impressive. Like you watch him and you're just like, how did so many teams just say no to this guy?
He throws a beautiful deep ball.
Not
You think Miami Dolphin fans are just sick to their stomach?
They are that's what I was just going to say. If you're a Miami Dolphins fan on Sundays, you are avoiding Chargers games at all costs. The fact that you could have had this guy, but then wait, I just want to mention this because that draft was funny, right? Because he was clearly the best quarterback prospect.
After Burrow, yes.
After Burrow. I even thought he might have been better than Burrow, right? But the problem with him at Oregon was they didn't run an offense that catered to his skill set. It was a run-first offense. But he was incredible. There was that one game that he played. I think it was actually the bowl game where he ran for like 3 touchdowns.
Right.
Like a read option a few times and went. And it was like, wow, everybody's talking about Trevor Lawrence, but like, this kid kind of looks like Trevor Lawrence. Like, he kind of plays like him, right?
Yeah.
But the big knock on him was that he's quiet, he's shy.
Played in the Pac-12.
Played in the Pac-12. He's not a leader, blah, blah. Dude, his IQ, his football IQ is off the charts. Off the charts.
He got perfect mechanics.
He's literally the perfect prospect. And the Chargers just kind of walked into it like, here we go. Here's Justin Herbert. And like, this is something I want to point out. We're seeing this rookie class, right, this year, and they're struggling.
Yeah, they are.
All these rookies are struggling, right? Does it say something that last year he just kind of like stepped in and was incredible?
Yeah, I think it does.
Like, you just step into 4,400 yards and 32 touchdowns and 6 picks. Like,
I mean,
just
listen,
like nothing ever happened.
I'm gonna say this, okay? I'm gonna say this for him, right? Think of all the quarterback prospects over the past 2 years, right? Joe Burrow, Tua Tagovailoa, Justin Herbert. Was there any more quarterbacks taken in the first round last year? I don't think so.
I forgot. I honestly forgot.
I don't know if anybody of worth, right? Then you have Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, and Mac Jones taken in round 1 this past season. Me and you could both agree that Justin Herbert, while he may be the best quarterback out of all those guys right now, I think that's undisputed, right? Easily has the best supporting cast.
Oh, his team is incredible.
Easily has the best supporting cast. He's got a dynamite running back. He's got a bona fide number 1 receiver. He's got an emerging star as a number 2 receiver. Way overdue in Mike Williams. Okay? They've got a pretty good offensive line. And that defense was awesome even before they drafted him. So, as much as Herbert is good, and the only other running back I'll say out of those teams, like, if I had to rank those running backs, right, like James Robinson's a good back, obviously.
David Montgomery.
Yeah, I mean, Montgomery's good. If I had to rank them, I'd rank them in, like, Eckler, Robinson, Mixon, Montgomery, and there's this, like, piss after that.
Eckler's far and away better.
Right, far and away the best one out of those guys. Right, Robinson may be the pure best runner of the group, but Eckler does both things excellent.
I mean, but he did go into a good situation.
Of course, he
did.
Just
like
but
good
listen,
organizations do the right thing.
There are guys who go into good situations and they take advantage of it, like he did, or there's guys that go into good situations and completely fumble it. He went into that situation and said, "Wow, I really got a good team around me. Let's take this into..." And they were like a typical team with a rookie quarterback last year. They were in a lot of close games, and they lost a lot of them because they made stupid mistakes down the stretch. Now, in year 2, they're winning those close games. And they're making the plays at the end of the game.
They're the coach of the year right now.
Right? So they seem to have, like... We see that progression from year 1 to year 2 when you largely have the same players in intact from year over year. But, I mean, that game, that fourth quarter, those teams are going back and forth. I mean, Kareem Hunt had a one hell of a fourth quarter. Mike Williams was wide open on that 42-yard. I don't know what happened there on that 42-yard touchdown pass. And then Eckler scores 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter by himself.
And then one that they pushed him in. He didn't even want to score.
Let's actually get to that, right? So here's what happens in the fourth quarter. The Browns were up 2 scores, right?
Yeah.
In the fourth quarter. They were playing great defense, right? Herbert hadn't really done anything yet to that point. And they were having a great defensive play. Nick Chubb was kind of doing whatever he wanted in that game. He had already scored a touchdown. He had over 100 yards or whatever the case was. And Herbert just seemed to just do something where he just started to like open it up. It's like he went over to his head coach and was like, you know what? Let's like really have some fun. Right? And then Austin Eckler has impressed me so much as a runner this year. He's just like, he's finding holes and he's just doing really, really good things. But that touchdown, not the first one, the second one where he caught the ball on the screen and just barreled his way through all those defenders to take the lead or whatever, it was just off the charts good. And then the Browns come back and Kareem Hunt scores from like 15, 20 yards out. And then they come back again, the Chargers, and they score. And that's when so Eckler didn't want to score.
No, he didn't want to score.
Amazing play by him to go down and then. But now, let me ask you this. Are you surprised they just didn't take 3 knees and leave it to the kicker? Or you think they shouldn't have done that?
I mean, when you're looking at the Browns, right, the one weakness for the Browns, I'll say this.
Because the Chargers just like, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
The one weakness for the Browns is that you're looking at the Browns and you're like, Baker Mayfield ain't bringing them down the field. I think that's become a little apparent now.
Well, I want to get to that in a minute because
like
there's somebody that I want to bring up because I don't know what's going on there.
Like Baker Mayfield, like you're like, all right, let's give Baker a minute and let's see if he can get the ball downfield. He's not getting the ball downfield.
But that's clearly what they did, right? So Eckler, they give him this handoff, and the Brown defense just like carries him into the end zone because they're like, we got to give our offense a chance.
Yeah.
Because they're just going to sit on the ball for 2.5 minutes, and they're going to make this kid kick a 20-yard field goal. It's going to be game over.
I think they knew. I think they just knew.
They knew what?
That he wasn't going to bring him down the field. You look at the Browns, right? And we're going to get to the Browns, right? That offense has a clear problem, and I'm wondering if you're going to like hit on it.
OBJ.
Yes. What's going on there? Like, is there something that I'm missing?
He's clearly an afterthought, which is insane. He's clearly an afterthought.
He's wide, and like Baker, if Baker didn't have a run game the way he does, that guy is in trouble. You watch him, and there's some plays, man. He missed Odell Beckham on some wide open routes.
He's thrown 4 touchdown passes this year, John.
Like, I don't know if he's the guy. Like, I hate to bring that into question because, like, listen, I love Baker Mayfield, but holy cow, man, we're talking like as conservative as they come.
I know.
Like, what's the benchmark for conservative game manager quarterback? Are we talking Alex Smith? Is that the benchmark? Is Alex Smith? Because he might be like a shade below Alex Smith.
I think he turns the ball over too much to be Alex Smith.
Yes, and he misses guys constantly. He's one of those. He's that quarterback, right? That's always looking for the big play, right? Like like a Carson Wentz, like a Patrick Mahomes, like that. But he can't actually do it. And the Odell Beckham thing, man, you just trade the guy already. I don't think it's anything's wrong with Odell Beckham. I just think they just don't care to go to him. I just don't think they care.
So then get rid of him.
That's what they need to do. They need to move on.
They get rid of him because there's no reason why you should keep a guy who's that talented if you're not going to use him.
He's wasting away on that.
And you could get something for him.
Of course you can.
Not like nobody's going to take him.
No, he's still incredibly valuable. You're not going to get what you return on investment like that, but still, that team is They have so many stars on that team for them to just be kind of like.
Don't get me wrong. I still think they're good. They went toe to toe with what we have as the 5th best team in the NFL.
And they went toe to toe with Kansas City too.
Right. So they're still, in my opinion, they're still a top 10 football team.
Oh yeah, they're a playoff team.
They're a playoff team for sure. But there's a reason they're not beating those elite football teams right now.
Yeah, they're coming up just short.
Right.
Something's just short with them.
Yeah, I think we're going to point to, like you mentioned it, we're going to point to the quarterback, but I think that's what you have to do. He's just not. He's not getting it done. He's not what Lamar Jackson is. He's not what Justin Herbert is. He's not even what Joe Burrow is at this point of his career.
Yeah, he's not progressing.
He's not.
Like those guys.
He's settling. I don't like that.
He peaked. Don't you think he peaked in his rookie year? He had that crazy.
He limits the offense.
100%.
Limits the offense, literally. They're like, their offense is like similar to the Tennessee Titans, but it's not as good.
Yes, I agree.
That's who I would have to compare it to. But the Tennessee Titans have like receivers, and so do the Browns.
But they just don't throw to them.
But Ryan Tannehill's a better quarterback than Baker Mayfield is.
And that's crazy to say.
It is. That's the truth, though. It's the absolute truth.
I agree with you. It's just crazy to think about that Baker's this conservative.
Wild. Anyway, let's get to our last game. And I want to bring this game up for one reason, because I just want to ask John a question. The Bills absolutely demolished the Chiefs in Arrowhead on Sunday Night Football after what seemed like an hour halftime delay.
It was an hour delay.
And Josh Allen thoroughly outplayed Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs just did not look good at all. So, John, I'm going to ask you, are the Bills now the favorite to win the AFC?
The Bills are now 100% the favorite to win the AFC. I think that defense played against a lot of bad offenses. I feel like we needed to see them against a good offense. And what's a better measuring stick than the Kansas City Chiefs, right? Kansas City turned the ball over a ton in that game, but that's been the story of this year for them. But holy cow, that might be the worst defense in the NFL.
They're a bad defense. No, the worst defense is the Seattle Seahawks. Okay, that goes.
Are we sure?
Saying.
Are we
Yes.
sure the Chiefs aren't close?
The Chiefs are probably like the second worst defense in the league, but that crown goes to Seattle. But the Chiefs' defense is now. Grant, they didn't have Chris Jones, but still, like that defense is putrid. They are horrific.
And you know what's bad too is now it's not like the offense can keep up. The offense is just turning the ball over at an insane clip.
Well, because Mahomes feels like they need to score on every possession. That's why. I can tell you right now, that's exactly why.
That's terrible. And I can't believe that this team is that bad.
See, I don't think
the defense is that bad.
Let's just. I'm gonna squabble this right now, okay? As long as you have Patrick Mahomes on your team, you are a threat to win this. Not go to the Super Bowl. You are a threat to win the Super Bowl.
They may not even win their division.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Would you want to play them in a one-game playoff?
Absolutely not.
Okay, that's it. Conversation's over. Conversation's over. If there's one quarterback you don't want go, if you don't want to go against in a playoff game outside of Tom Brady, who is it?
It's Patrick Mahomes.
Okay, enough.
No,
that's it.
Joe, here's the thing. Time out. These AFC quarterbacks don't care about them because they're just throwing for insane numbers and just putting up crazy offensive numbers against.
Right, but defense. In the postseason, okay, right? Patrick's been there, done that. He's conquered a 14-point deficit in the second half to win a Super Bowl. He's conquered going to overtime against Tom Brady and winning in the AFC title game. He's conquered all of these obstacles already. So, I don't think any of that stuff phases him. But, and here's the but. The defense needs to be I'm not even asking them to be, average. Middle. Middle would be 16th out of 32, right? I'm asking them to be the 20th best defense in the league. That's what I need them to be for them to be a Super Bowl threat. They need to be the 20th best defense in the league. They need to bend, not break. They need to give up 20 to 23 points a game for them to be a Super Bowl threat. That's what they need to do. Right now, they're giving up 30 points a game. That's not going to cut it.
No, it's absolutely not.
If they could cut that down by 7, then they're okay. Then they're okay. I mean, right now they're not there. But let's not forget, last year, the Buccaneers did not turn on the Jets until week 13. And they went 11-5, and they didn't lose a game the rest of the year. Am I right?
You're right.
So sometimes it takes teams a while to figure out what makes things go.
This isn't a new thing, though, with this defense.
No, and the one thing is, for the past 3 years, okay, NFL teams, and specifically AFC teams, were trying to catch up to the Chiefs, right? The Ravens, the Bills, as of recently, the Browns, right? The Chargers, all top NFC teams. The Steelers, even for a little while, okay? And I think, and who said it? Chris Collinsworth may have said it on the broadcast. The Bills in the offseason had one thing that they wrote on their whiteboard. How do we beat the Kansas City Chiefs? That was it. That was what they wanted to accomplish over the offseason. Because that's the only, in my opinion, the only obstacle they have to get to the Super Bowl is to figure out a way to beat Kansas City.
Yeah.
And now, if that AFC title game is Kansas City and Buffalo, and that game's in Buffalo instead of Kansas City,
now that's a problem. That's a problem.
Interesting.
Things do get
interesting.
At that point.
Well, let me ask you. We already established that the Bills are the clear-cut favorites in the AFC now.
Yes.
They should probably end up being the 1 seed at the end of the season, I think. I think that's a foregone conclusion. I think while them and the Chargers share the best record and the Ravens share the best record in the AFC, I think the AFC East is a much worse division than the AFC West and the AFC North.
Yeah.
So just based off the sheer law of averages, I'll take my chances with the Bills winning having the number 1 seed because of the lesser competition they're going to face throughout the rest of the season. Where do the Chiefs fall in this right now? Where do they fall?
As far as standings go?
Do they clearly still have a chance to win the AFC West, only 2 games back, and there's plenty of time left. Mm-hmm. But do you think that they'll turn this around? Because I think they will.
I think they will. I think they make the playoffs, but I think they're a wild card team.
So you're thinking they're going to have to... You're thinking they're like a 5 seed or a 6 seed?
I think they're a 6 seed. I think they're a 6 seed.
6 seed at what, like 10-7? Or like 11-6?
Maybe 11-6. I could see them going 10-7. I really don't think they're going to win the division. I think the Chargers have all the momentum. I think they have a stranglehold right now. You already beat the Chiefs.
Do you think the Chiefs can make the Super Bowl as a wild card team?
Of course they can. Tampa Bay made it last year as a wild card team.
That's right, they did.
Brady was a 6 seed. It was the first time ever in his career. I think they can make it. I just don't know. I don't know right now. I don't know right now. I think that it is concerning. I think people are just not speaking about how concerning it is, if that makes sense.
Because they almost don't want to believe it because Mahomes is still Mahomes.
He just looks more.
Even though he's had like his worst stretch of his career, I mean, he's still throwing.
He's still the best quarterback in the NFL. No,
yeah,
I get it.
Easily. All right. That covers our in-depth conversation. When we come back, we're going to hit up our last segment. We're going to go through our fantasy sleepers and busts and our game picks and our power rankings. So don't miss anything. We'll be right back. All right, guys. We're back here, and we are ready to talk about fantasy football. But before we get into that, John, we put out our power rankings recently, today.
We did.
And let's just quickly go through the top 10. So the top 10 was the Chiefs at number 10, the Browns at number 9, the Packers at number 8, the Ravens at number 7, the Rams at number 6, the Chargers at number 5, the Cowboys at 4, the Bucs at 3, the Bills at 2, and the Arizona Cardinals at number 1. Any surprises you feel there? Any teams that you think, wow, I'm surprised that they're there?
Real quick, I'll just say this. One team I love in our top 10 that not enough people are speaking about are the Dallas Cowboys. That's a good football team.
It seems like they finally put pen to paper. Like, you know what I mean?
That is a scary team. They might have the defensive player of the year on their team.
Javon Diggs is a beast.
The defensive rookie of the year on their team.
Michael Parsons is a beast.
That team looks good. Listen. Maybe we should highlight them next week. We haven't highlighted them yet.
A team profile.
Let's do that.
A team profile. Let's see what happens this week. Let's see if they win this week.
They
play the Patriots in Foxborough. So I'm curious to see how Bill approaches that offense.
Do you think Tavon Diggs got his 7th interception?
No. Because I think that Bill says, hey, Mac.
Do not throw that
Let's
way.
not throw a Trevon Diggs on Sunday.
That would be smart. Nobody's
Let's
figured
not
it out yet.
go that way. But no, I mean, listen, their offense is, they have, obviously, they have a top 10 quarterback in Dak. They have a ridiculous 1-2 punch in Zeke and Tony Pollard. And I'm glad that Tony Pollard's getting exposed right now, because for a couple of years I've been saying this kid has been like really real, like diamond in the rough player, and he's just taking the league by storm right now, and I love it. And not to mention, Michael Gallup's coming back soon. They've been doing this without Michael Gallup. They got CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper, who are one of the top 3 wide receiver tandems in the league.
Now they run these 2 tight end sets
right?
with Jarwin.
Dalton Schultz has become a bona fide tight end, which is, that's another weapon, They got Cedric Wilson, who they use as like that Kadarius Toney, Deebo Samuel type. So they use him. He's not as good, but they still use him, and he can catch the football.
They're a good team.
And they still got a good offensive line. Lyle Collins was suspended for 5 or 6 games. Okay. Michael Gallup was on IR. Okay. When those guys come back, they're going to be at full strength. They're going to be even better than they are right now.
Yeah.
And the defense has taken a major step forward.
Yeah, that's a good team.
And again, no DeMarcus Lawrence.
Yeah. So,
I mean, they're doing it with key guys that are being missed right now.
It's crazy. It's honestly crazy.
So next week they play the Patriots in Foxborough, and then they're on a bye the following week. So they have a very good chance to be 5-1 going into their bye, which would put them as the number 2 seed in the NFC, behind the Arizona Cardinals.
Wow.
Unless Arizona loses this week. Then they would be in the depending on tiebreakers, they'd be up there. No, they lost. They don't have a head-to-head against Tampa, so that they would need to be. But whatever. Too early for that. They're a friggin' good football team.
Very good team.
Very good team. All right, John. Last week, we hit 2 of 3 sleepers and 1 of 3 busts. You are in charge of the busts this week, and I'm in charge of the sleepers. I am going to come to you first, and I'm going to ask you, who is your quarterback bust of the week?
So my quarterback bust. Bum, bum. No, it's a wrong music. I got ahead of myself. I like to do this on the fly. Because
why?
Okay, I got it. So my quarterback bust of the week is going to be a guy who had the best game of his career this past Monday. I'm going Lamar Jackson.
Really?
Lamar Jackson is going against the Chargers. I feel like that team, they've had his number before in the playoffs. I feel like that defense does a lot of things well. They have a lot of good players. I mean, Derwin James is just unbelievable. I feel like it's going to be really hard for him to go back-to-back performances like that. I feel like aside from last week, he was kind of teetering a little bit. So Lamar's going to be my quarterback bust of the week.
Lamar's going to be your quarterback bust of the week.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. I am going to go on the flip, and I'm going to do a QB sleeper. Now, I hate that I'm going to do this. This is going to really bother me that I'm going to do this. But I'm going to do it.
Go ahead.
Are you ready?
Your quarterback sleeper?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Are you ready? I think you're going to be like, Joe, are you kidding me right now? But I'm going to say it.
Who?
Geno Smith.
I'm done with the pod. Can we stop the rest of it? Why?
Pittsburgh Steelers is currently on the 30th worst defense in the NFL against the pass. 30th.
It's Geno Smith.
30th. Geno Smith looked good last week against the Rams. And the Rams have a better secondary.
You just want to prop up DK Metcalf.
No, it's not. Okay, because think about it. Think about the other options, right? So you have just on the surface, right? You're going. I could go Taylor Heineke again because they're playing the Chiefs defense, but no. I could go Jalen Hurts against the Bucks, but is that really a sleeper? Probably not. You know. Is Joe Burrow against the Lions a sleeper? No. The other guy I was thinking about was Tua coming off the injury against Jacksonville in London because the Jaguars have a pretty poor pass defense as well.
Yeah, he has come back.
But I'm gonna stick with my Geno pick. I could see Geno throwing now. I'm gonna give you stats. All right, they're playing on Sunday Night Football. Okay. In Pittsburgh, Geno is going to throw for 250 yards, okay? He's going to throw not one, not two, but 3 touchdown passes.
Holy fucking Christ.
And he's going to throw 1 interception on the night. In a Seahawk win in Pittsburgh on Sunday Night Football, 27-23.
I can't believe I just heard this. Can I give you my running back bust?
Sure.
Because now I'm Geno Smithed out.
You're Geno Smith out?
I'm Geno Smith. Are you gonna pick him up off waivers?
No, because I have Mahomes. Why would I do that?
I don't know. Just throw in a bid. Why not?
No.
My running back sleeper of the week is gonna be Nick Chubb.
Running back sleeper?
I mean, wait, running back bust.
Oh, I was like, wait, what?
Running back bust. I'm sorry. My running back bust is going to be Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb, they're going against an Arizona defense that has been absolutely stellar up front. I feel like Cleveland gets shellacked by Arizona.
Really?
Shellacked. I don't even think it's...
Shellacked.
Like smacked. I think Arizona's like a next level team this year. They're playing really good run defense. They're keeping games close. I don't know. I just don't think there's going to be much running room. I feel like Chubb, you know what's funny is Chubb has all these crazy numbers. Like he's one of the top rushers in the league, but it almost feels like Kareem Hunt's like outplayed him. Doesn't it feel like that? It's like really weird.
No.
You don't think so?
I don't.
Like I feel like I've seen more of Kareem Hunt than I have of Chubb. Like Chubb had that big run last week, but other than that, it was just kind of like, where's Nick Chubb? But he has amazing numbers. It's very strange. But yeah, Nick Chubb is going to be my running back bust of the week.
Nick Chubb is the running back bust of the week. Okay, fair enough. All right, you ready for my running back sleeper?
Go ahead.
Zach Moss.
Whoa.
Buffalo Bills.
Been fantastic.
Against the Tennessee Titans. Currently, the Titans are giving up an average of 4.51 yards per carry. They have given up, 7 rushing touchdowns this season, which is a ton. And Zach Moss has a streak of he has scored in double-digit points for 3 weeks in a row. So I am going to go with Zach Moss as my sleeper. I think I could see him going like 10 carries for like 45 yards and a score and like 3 catches for like 30 yards. And if my math is done correctly, that would be 4.5, 6 plus 10.5 plus 3 is 13. That would be about a 17-point performance from Zach Moss, which is definitely good for flex and even maybe RB2 numbers. So Geno Smith, Zach Moss.
Interesting.
Okay.
My pass catcher bust of the week is going to be Dawson Knox.
Whoa, bust. He had a breakout game on Sunday night.
And he's had 20 points the last 2 weeks.
Wow.
I feel like he's going to come back down to earth a little bit.
Okay.
They're going against the Tennessee defense. Pretty good against tight ends, actually. Tennessee is ranked. Let's see. Why can't I see it? I have to actually go to this person.
John is struggling.
I'm struggling because of this. So they're actually ranked second against tight ends. And Dawson Knox is currently tight end 3. He's had
tight end 3?
2, 3, 4, 5 touchdowns over the last 4 weeks. Last week he had 4 targets, 3 receptions for 117 and a touchdown. He's very touchdown dependent. So I see that coming back down to earth a little bit. I think this is a game where you see Diggs get involved a little bit more because Diggs has been quiet. So I'm going Dawson Knox.
Going Dawson Knox. Okay. I am going to, for my sleeper, I am going to go to... Where am I going to go? Who do they play this week? No? All right.
Are you just backed out of it?
I'm going to go... Okay, I'm going to do it. My wide receiver sleeper this week is going to... I was going to pick this guy, but I don't know. Thinking between 2 guys. Can I tell you the 2 guys I'm thinking between?
Go.
Rondale Moore. No, not Rondale Moore. Christian Kirk.
Okay.
And Devontae Parker.
Devontae Parker's out, I think.
No, I think he's playing. He's not playing?
I don't think he's playing.
Okay, then I'm going to go with Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk is a wide receiver for the Arizona Cardinals, playing with Cleveland Browns. Cleveland Browns currently own the 5th worst average of yards per reception. They are giving up a whopping 12.7 yards per reception to opponents. They have given up 10 passing touchdowns, and they have given up 600 yards of yak this season in 5 weeks. That's an average of about 113 yards of yak a game.
I love when Joe breaks down numbers to me. It makes me all hot.
I know. So Christian Kirk has these like 3 games a year where he just goes bananas. And with Denzel Ward covering DeAndre Hopkins, I think that will limit Hop's targets.
Don't do that.
For the game. I was right about DJ Moore last week, so don't even hit me with that. I think it's going to limit the Hop's snaps. And I could see Christian Kirk going for like 5 catches. He's going to have one of those like 5 catches for like 110 yards and like 2 scored type of games.
Yeah, he's good for he's good for that.
I could see something like that with 1 bomb. You know what I mean, from Kyler? So, bust of the week, Lamar Jackson,
Nick Chubb,
and Dawson Knox. Sleepers, Geno Smith.
You make me sick.
What if he does well?
I don't want to talk about it. I forgot he was in the league.
Well, he's gonna be for the whole world to watch on Sunday night. Zach Moss and Christian Kirk.
If he does bad, you know what sucks is I can't even shit on you on next week's pod because you'll be on your honeymoon.
I will.
Enjoy yourself, by the way.
Thank you so much.
But
I'm gonna when he crushes it Sunday night, I'm gonna be sitting at a bar,
drinking a pina colada,
probably drinking a strawberry daiquiri, watching the game, and I'm gonna just be like,
I'll just be a miserable fuck.
I'm gonna look to the guy next to me who probably has no idea what's going on in his life and be like, I predicted this.
Who are you?
I predicted this. I told you it's gonna happen. All right. Those are sleepers and busts. Now, before we get out of here, John, let's do what we do best and let us pick the NFL game picks of the week.
Let's do this rapid fire. I'm going rapid on this.
I mean, first of all, let's update the folks on where we are. So John,
fall from grace.
John went 3-2 last week, and I went 2-3. Okay, so not terrible at all. Just to give everybody a context of where we are currently. Give me 1 second so I can pull it up. John is 15-10 on the season, and Joe is 11-14. So I am currently 4 games behind John. So let me go to the odds for week 6 because I have not looked at these yet.
This is the first time I'm looking at them too.
First time I'm looking at them.
Bum, bum.
All right, so you go first. You remember the rules are you have to pick one upset special, but you're not limited to picking one upset special, and we include spreads.
Okay,
So first game.
My first upset special of the week is going to be
Your first upset special.
because there's actually 2, but I'm going to give you the main one. The main one is Detroit plus 3.5 at home for the Bengals.
You're taking them to cover or to win?
I'm taking them to cover.
So you think they're going to lose by like a point?
Yeah,
Just heartbreak.
or even a field goal. I mean, 3.5. That's
Heartbreak.
Are we going back for you? Or I just give you all my 5 now?
You give me all your 5 now.
Okay, then I'm going Houston back to the well.
Wow.
Plus 10
They're double-digit dogs again.
in Indy. Why haven't they learned?
Wait, what? They're plus 10?
In Indy.
Oh, boy. Okay.
I am going to go Rams minus 9.5
Ooh.
against the Giants this week.
Seems like a pretty good bet.
I am going to go Denver
Oh, you lost on Denver last week.
minus 3.5
Whoa.
at home for the Raiders.
So John has taken the Broncos. He's taken the Rams. He's taken the Lions. And he's taken the Texans so far.
The final game for me
Is
Monday night. I'm taking Buffalo minus 5.5
love that.
in Tennessee.
I want the Titans to go like 0-17, even though they've already won.
I'm going 5-0 this week. I might even go fucking actually put that in.
That's how confident you feel.
That's how I might put that in. You might have to screenshot that and send it to me.
All right, fair enough. All right, so you want me to hear mine?
Go ahead, do it.
Okay.
Hit me.
I am going to go first game, and this sticks out like a sore thumb. I'm going to take the Cowboys minus 3.5 in Foxborough.
Okay.
I think they're that much of a better team right now than New England. I think we saw a lot of what New England was when they only beat Houston by 3 in Houston last week. So I'm going to go and I'm going to take the boys minus 3.5 in New England. I am also going to, John, I'm going to double down with you on the Rams. I'm going to take the Rams minus 9.5 over the Giants. I think that's also...
That's a lock.
That's easy. I am going to take the Arizona Cardinals plus 3 in Cleveland.
Okay.
I think Arizona wins in Cleveland to go to 6-0. I am also going to double down, and I am going to stick to my guns, and I am going to take the Seahawks plus 4.5 on Sunday night in Pittsburgh.
I hate 4.5, but
That means they only have to lose by a field goal.
yeah. I mean, yeah, you're right. I hate it when it's minus 4.
So, and then for my 5th and final game,
No, don't do it. You do it all the time.
I have not been more confident so far this season that the Jaguars are going to win this week. In London, they are currently plus 3 in London against the Miami Dolphins.
It's a home game for them.
I am taking the Jags to win their first game of the season. Of course it's going to be away from Jacksonville because that's just how the Jaguars operate.
Joe, can I tell you something?
I think they're going to win outright. I really do. I really firmly believe they're going to win on Sunday morning.
You are a fucking meme.
I am a meme.
You're
I'm my own worst enemy.
Like, you taking... Oh, my God. You take them every
No, I didn't take them
single-
last week.
You took them 4 out of 5 weeks.
I took them
so
2
far.
weeks ago to cover, and they did against the Bengals.
All right.
All right, I didn't say they were going to win. No, I did say they were going to win. But and they probably should have won that football game too. But I am confident they are going to win on Sunday against the Dolphins. Dolphins are a 1-4 football team.
It's a bad
They are
team.
not good right now. You know, even if Tua plays on Sunday, how good is he going to be? I don't know.
Jaguars defense off waivers. No, I got to do it. I'm kidding now.
You may want to do it.
Joe's gonna do it. You picked up a defense
Maybe
already.
do it. But I will say this: if there's one guarantee in this game, it's that the Miami Dolphins will have a turnover in this game. 1,000%.
Oh, of course.
Did that streak end, or is that streak still going?
I think it ended.
Oh, it did end
Yeah, it got shellacked.
by the Bucks, right?
Yeah, there was. Yeah.
Well, folks, that's all we got today. We have a lot of fun. Next week, I will not be here. I will be out, as I will be going on my lovely honeymoon with my wife on Sunday to Sunday. So it will be all John on Sunday on the Twitter. And on Monday, it'll be all John. So if you want to interact with John this week, make sure you hit him up on the Twitter, on TikTok, on whatever you want to do. And Wednesday, John will not be alone. John will be joined by a friend or friends of ours, as we may do a little roundtable discussion on Wednesday following week 6. I will not give you the names of the people who will be joining because that will ruin the surprise, even though you probably have no idea who they are. So John will be announcing those on the pod on Wednesday, but it'll be the John McCarthy and Friends edition of Perfect Spiral on Wednesday, October 20th, which is also a very significant night because is the opening night for New York Knicks basketball. We're back, baby. New York Knicks.
You'll be watching with your daiquiri.
I most definitely will. And my wife will be livid with me that I'm watching Knick basketball on my honeymoon. But you know what? I don't give a flying titty because it's my honeymoon. So I'm allowed to do whatever the hell I want. So if I want to watch the Knick game, you bet your ass I'm going to watch the Knick game. So that being said, John, do you have any last minute things to tell to the fun folks at home?
No, next week's going to be a fun episode, I think. You guys are going to enjoy it.
Next week will be fun. Go Jaguars. They will win their first game. Skull?
Bye week, I think.
No, they're on bye? No, they're not on bye.
No, we're playing Carolina.
Yeah.
Not
Skull.
confident.
Skull.
Yeah,
Skull.
not confident.
All right. Not confident. All right, folks. Enjoy the week. We'll see you next week. Holla.